Hey everybody, welcome to the Pet Food Puzzle Guy. My name is Glenn, and I just want to say that this channel, it's over 2 years old now, and the whole reason for starting this channel was because of my 34 years in the veterinary nutrition field and just learning everything that had to do with nutrition from board certified nutritionists, but also experiencing all the pet food marketing that's out there. And so the channel really, I started out basically just saying, hey, I need to make sure pet parents know the marketing gimmicks and the marketing lies. There's no better way to call it, but sometimes it's a lie that's out there trying to convince you to buy their product instead of somebody else's. And this is the video here. I want to share an article that I actually got from Dog Food Advisor. And those of you that know me, I'm not big on rating systems. I don't really find that they're very useful. Show me the nutrients has always been my mantra. But any organization that is helping to educate pet parents to what's going on out there, I think is important. So kudos for Dog Food Advisor for sharing this article. And it's all about are there dead dogs and cats in pet food? And I hear it all the time. Oh, you're just a shill for the big kibble companies, and they use nothing but garbage. And there's dead dogs and cats in meals, that kind of thing. And so I found this article very refreshing, and it's very fact-based. And I will share it so that you can watch the whole thing. I just want to kind of give you a quick review and my opinion on it. But I think it's important that we understand who we can believe and who we shouldn't be believing. Okay, and when you hear that lie that there's dead dogs and cats in pet food, you'll be a little more informed. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And I'm glad you're here. So again, I'm going to make sure that I attach this in the description so you could read the whole article. I'm not going to read the whole article to you, but it's written by a Howard Calvert, and this was published October 1st of 2025, so real recent. He has written a lot of things, everything from articles to children's books to all kinds of stuff. And then it says it was verified by Andrew Dickens. You can open up his bio. Very award-winning, renowned editor and author and all the other stuff. So again, this comes back to who do you want to believe? But when you read through the article, you'll see there's some really good dates and specifics in here. But the title is, do they really use dead dogs and cats to make pet food? And cute picture of an old dog there with a grizzled face. But you may have read online or heard someone tell you as a dog parent, did you know euthanized cats and dogs are used to make pet food? Now, I can tell you as a pet food puzzle guy on this channel, I hear that all the time. And if you're anybody out there on social media, you're hearing from all the other ingredientists and the holistic people and everything else that, in fact, there is euthanized dogs and cats in pet food. Indeed, we've long had an article on this site asking whether this might be true based on an old video of uncertain origin in which the then AFCO president suggested there was little to stop cats and dogs ending up in pet food theoretically. This is an update on that article based on facts. I did not click on the little blue thing to see what that old video of uncertain origin was. You can do that if you want. Note, at no point did he suggest this ever happened. And more importantly, since that video, estimated to be from 1998, both regulation and scientific studies show that the answer to the question, do they use dogs and cats to make pet food, is no. Although not everything is rosy, which we'll come to later. Okay, so why is this urban myth about dead dogs and cats in pet food why has it been perpetuated? No smoke without fire, a mistrust of dog food companies, I'm sorry. It persists in no small part because on several separate occasions, dog food testing has shown positive traces of an animal euthanasia drug. This has led worried commentators to assume this drug ended up via the rendered remains of dogs and cats euthanized by vets at animal shelters, which then somehow made their way into their kibble. we decided to examine these rumors properly and correct some of the more worrying information flying around on the internet. So I do want you to watch this whole thing, but spoiler alert, no, there is not. This is just a myth that the people that are against commercial food, against the big kibble and everything else, they hear it, they believe it, and it just keeps going and going and going. This guy shows you real time how it got started. And basically, again, it was in 1998 when some of this was found. And a controversy occurred in 2017 and 2018. This was triggered by the discovery of pentobarbital in certain batches of dog food following the death of a pug, which had consumed canned food from Avengers containing traces of the drug. The drug, however, didn't come from dead cats or dogs. The vice president of Avengers Dog and Cat Food Company said a now former supplier sent his company beef from at least one cow that had been euthanized with pentobarbital. So there are many examples, not many, but there's a handful of examples where whenever that was found in a supplier's meat source, it was always connected to the cattle. It was never connected to dogs and cats. As a matter of fact, there was even a study done, or a couple, where they actually looked at, let me see if I could find it here. Investigations in 1998 and 2000 tested the protein of the meat in pet food that had been tested positive for the drug, for the presence. They were looking for DNA from dogs and cats. Pretty clever. That was really a smart idea. The results from the food tested positive for pentobarbital and samples that were negative showed a total absence of dog and cat DNA. So again, where there were traces of it, it was coming from suppliers that were including cattle, euthanized cattle, into their meals. So now that's just like he said, this isn't a rosy picture because it sure sounds like you could get away with doing that back then, okay, till they discovered, hey, there's trace levels in these foods. And okay, it's not coming from dogs and cats. Well, who else gets euthanized sometimes? This is really a horrible topic, subject I really hate thinking about, but it's the cattle that are put down being euthanized for whatever reasons. Probably falls into that 4D meat, dead, diseased, dying, and disabled. That again, we hear that from the ingredients list all the time. That if it's meat meal, it's got 4D meat in it, and it's got dogs and cats, euthanized in it, and all this other stuff. This is just a great article if you really like facts and you like evaluating statements, and it helps you form, which I always say, you have to decide who you're going to believe. This is a very believable article because he has all the studies, he has all the dates. So again, he goes through and explains the results. That this is a quote from the study. The results demonstrated a lack of correlation between species identity and the presence of pentobarbital in dog food. They also provide evidence against the presumption that euthanized pets are routinely rendered and used in pet food. Okay, so now since then, the current law regarding pentobarbital, it's a hard word to say, now the FDA and everybody else involved has said there is no tolerance level for that drug or for any euthanasia drug. So that now has put suppliers with the cattle that aren't dealing with dogs and cat carcasses, that puts them on alert. You better make sure that you don't send that stuff over to a food company and then it's discovered. Where there are mycotoxins, things like that, where there could be a certain amount in the food, certain pesticide levels, which are debatable, that come from certain grains. Supposedly there's a safe amount. All that's being regulated. Again, take that for what it's worth. But here they're saying, no, when it comes to these euthanasia drugs, zero tolerance. They shouldn't be in there, period. So that's really good. That's good to know. Is there a food company that's going to break that rule and buy really garbage stuff, illegal stuff from a supplier? Well, why would the supplier sell it? If they're a reputable supplier that's supplying reputable food companies, that's just, it's not worth the risk. You're not going to make enough money that it's worth the lawsuit that will entail if they find out that either you were the supplier that supplied the food or you were the manufacturer that got caught with trace levels of that in the food. Now, could it happen here and there? The article even goes into say, come on, let human nature or human error, whatever. Could it happen? Absolutely. But if you think about it, again, it's not a topic I'm very happy talking about, but if one cow carcass ends up in that mixture, by the time it is mixed and cooked and the whole rendering process is done, it's been so diluted that it's not harming your dog or my dog or cat at home. Okay. Again, not real pleasant conversation here. But the point of this is, let me see if there's anything else here. So should you worry? They're saying no. Yes, any carcasses where any cows where they're used a drug, a euthanasia drug, it has to be labeled and it's not acceptable to be going into any type of feed, pet food or human food, of course. And again, he's saying if it does make the way in, making it because of the processing, the manufacturing, and spreading across a large quantity, I can only imagine, making it less potent as it's diluted to a point where no adverse effects are experienced by any animals that consume the food. So, yeah, let's not be so naive to say, oh, it's illegal to have it in there. Does that mean it never gets in there? I wish, right? But at least it makes sense that the levels are from one random cow. Now, again, the whole thing is, where do we hear this lie? And the purpose of this video is, you're a pet parent, you're trying to do your best. We hear all these lies about kibble, how awful it is. The heating destroys all the nutrients. It dehydrates your pet so that they get kidney disease. It has 4D meat. It has euthanized dogs and cat carcasses. This is just one example of saying one of those lies is absolutely false. I can tell you just about every lie you hear from pet food marketing these days is false. Again, I love doing my videos, and I always tell you folks, especially if you're new, the smart people that respond and put the comments in with my videos, you can learn just as much, if not more, from them. Now, sure, there's a lot of testimonies. I fed raw and my dog was doing terrible. I switched to science diet. Now they're doing fabulous. I was working with a holistic vet for my urinary issues with my cat, and it was going downhill really fast. I finally trusted my vet, started feeding prescription diet, and my cat now is clear and she's doing great. All those testimonies are there. And to be fair, there's plenty of testimonies of people that said, hey, I switched off kibble, went to raw, and my dog is doing so great and everything else. Those are all very dramatic, and we need to believe every one of them. I don't think people are going to lie, but it is just anecdotal, and it's not a scientific model to say, oh, well, because that worked with Glenn's dog, that means it's going to work with every dog, and here's the scientific reasons. There are plenty of reasons why a diet just doesn't agree with one dog and the other dog thrives on it. And especially even the forms. Raw food for some animals, they just did terrible. Now, when it comes to raw, maybe the owners screwed it up. Okay, that's the problem. That's a challenge when you're feeding homemade, whether you're cooking it or it's raw. We could say that the form is the problem, or we could say, well, the pet parent's the problem because they really never got a good formula. They're feeding a very unbalanced diet that's either extremely deficient or extremely excessive, whatever. And there's some animals, I've had enough dogs where if I put down a piece of raw meat, they thought it was the most disgusting thing in the world. One was a husky. Now you think, oh, a husky, he's close to a wolf. He's going to eat that right up. Ugh, that was disgusting. My little Havanese, she has only a few teeth left, whatever. I can put down raw meat or it falls on the floor. Man, she's at it just like a cougar or a leopard. She's just ready to pounce on it, or a wolf. Keep it in the species. So it's very individual. So I don't want to pick on forms here. This is just saying when it comes to the lies of the kibble haters out there, this is just a great example that they're not telling you the truth. And the people that are sincere, that really believe they're telling you the truth, well, they just heard the myth from somebody else. So again, kudos to Dog Food Advisor. Again, I'm not big into rating foods, especially some of the criteria they use, I think falls into the ingredientist camp rather than the nutrition camp. but I do appreciate their effort of doing stuff like this, because this is what we need more of: good, solid information that stops demonizing one form of food and making another so wonderful. And so again, I really do appreciate they've done this. If you want to watch or read the article, I will put it in the description. But I basically told you basically what you need to know. And then again, it's up to you who you're going to believe. You're going to believe all the myths out there, or are you going to believe people that are actually trying to find the answers and have some details to show why it's just a myth? Okay. Hope you appreciate that and get a lot out of it. And again, I can't say enough how much I appreciate everybody responding to the channel and sharing your thoughts and your experiences, and your, especially those of you that have taken some of my advice and it's really worked out great for you. Thank you for those messages. I really appreciate that. Makes me want to keep doing this. Again, remember, I am not sponsored by anybody. I'm totally independent, just going with my own experience and my own common sense. I am not an expert, so again, you just have to kind of take all that into consideration. I will never say I am your pet nutritionist or I am certified and blah blah blah. Please don't believe the labels. Okay, listen to the information, evaluate it, consider the source, and that's the best we can do. So again, y'all take care. It's still autumn. It's October. What is it? October 8th, I think. My wife and I we were up in Estes Park, Colorado. The leaves were perfect. It was absolutely gorgeous. My favorite time of year. So make sure you get out and enjoy it, because it is short. Okay, the cold winter is going to be here before you know it. And just appreciate every day as precious, because they really are. All right, take care.